Hi and welcome to Capoeira with Soquete. In this video we're going to be looking at some intermediate and advanced details for Armada to help you with a smooth transition in your rotation and to make sure you're doing all the things you need to do to keep yourself safe. In the first video our Armada came through cadeira. We started in ginga position and we rotated into cadeira. We're going to start the same way, but we are also going to be looking at Armada from your ginga position and Armada from your finta movement, getting that rotation into the hip. I'm constantly telling my students that your elbows are your speed and your brakes. Your elbows and your shoulders are going to dictate just how much rotation, just how much speed you can get through your Armada and many other techniques. So just like the basics video, when we go from ginga position, the first foot comes up and it's already starting to walk around into a circle. From here, we're taking the arms from our ginga position all the way up past our head. And this foot's going to lift off, and as it lifts off, I need to internally rotate. Just do that a few times. Internally rotate that left foot so that I can place my heel down, pointing at my opponent. I often say in class that your heel is like a laser pointer. Wherever your heel is pointing, that's where your kick is headed. So once we get the rotation from the arms, we're going to be able to get that done. Again, from my ginga position, I'm stepping up, heel. These arms, not only for protection, but also for my rotation. Remember, elbows are your speed and your brakes. You're tossing them across your head, and that's gonna pull the ribs and it's gonna pull the hip. But remember, I also need to internally rotate that foot. My arms are here to protect between my head and my opponent. And this is my last place that I can take a chance and decide whether or not to release the kick. Then, with the rotation coming from the shoulders, from the arms, my head is going to be the last thing to leave and the first thing to arrive. So I'm going to throw those arms all the way around, and then my head's coming. But what we want to do is start to rotate on one foot. So now it's heel, toe, and as I twist and as I rotate, I shift all of the weight onto the ball of this foot and take the other foot off the floor. So I'm going to have the heel coming down and the knee bending as this foot reaches the apex of the kick, and that's going to help me with strength and weight in the bottom so people can not give me rasteiras, but it's also going to give this little bang down and up power into the Armada. So we're just going to run through it a couple of times here, and then I'm going to do it sideways so you can really see this foot rotating. Heel, again, difficult to do slow. Turn the hip in as you're moving, twist, up, down, head on the side, everything nice and clean, feet as wide as my hips. Once more from here. Again, heel, everything goes. Another thing to consider is how much arc do I really need in my Armada. If I'm getting my rotation on this one foot, everything's coming to the front, it's not coming out really wide on the first half of the kick. But once it's gone past the center line, it doesn't need to continue to arc all the way around. People will have more time to get underneath for rasteira, for vingativa, and do all sorts of things. So as a general rule, once you get past the center point and a little bit past your shoulders, you're engaging your hamstrings and your glutes to pull the kick back and down. So I don't want to go all the way out, not great for my hip joint. Once I get past, boom, and the elbow comes forward as that foot comes down. Let's look at that. Heel, again, rotation, boom, down. Really valuable to get that bend in the knees to keep your stability. The elbow driving forward stretches your ribs and helps you to stabilize. From the side. Heel. Again, nice soft knees when we land. We've got to be ready for that counter strike. Heel, toe. Okay, now let's take a look at loading and releasing the Armada from within your ginga position. Up until now, we've traveled through cadeira, but with the concept I'm about to introduce now, we can do it from Armada, or we can do it from a finta step, which allows for some distance management. I'm in ginga position. My back leg is bent. Everything here is nice. Now, the heel coming down in the back. Again, I've said this: heel, toe, and then the twist and look. I want to make sure my arms are up to protect my head. I want to make sure I've internally rotated this foot so that my heel is like a laser pointer. This is actually a place where I can make a last minute decision. Do I want to release the Armada, or am I going to fake the Armada, release a martelo the other way? Am I going to do a chapa or a spinning gancho or a martelo cruzado from here? There's so many options. Once I've made that commitment, I'm going to spin and I'm going to look. Now I need to pivot on this front foot. So as I'm spinning, I need to bring the other foot and the hip to the front, landing on the ball of my foot with my elbow forward. So from ginga position, Heel, arms come up, toe, internally rotate the foot. There's your heel. Now, twist and look. All the pivot happening on that front leg. One more time. Heel, toe, stepping across a little bit. Now I'm in like a reverse ginga position. Once I've made that decision, my elbows are my speed and my brakes. The faster they come around, the better I can release the kick and let it out. So that is from ginga position. I can do the same thing from finta, but now I have distance management. So I can step up and do my finta and then spin here from a flat foot. But I can also step, rotate through my finta and take a long step. So now I've just taken up some space against my opponent and release the same kick. I can go across. I can go back. I can go anywhere I want as long as I end up in this reverse ginga position before I release and reset. That really allows for distance management. So someone's throwing an armada this way, I can step in, take my look, my laser pointer, release a counter strike across the other person's armada, or meia luz de compasso, or queixado. When we look at it from the front, we're gonna start to see, again, not a great deal of arc. Heel, toe, as I'm twisting, I'm getting my toes to point to the front before I release. That means there's not a lot on this side. It means that it's gonna come out a little bit faster. I'm using the hip flexor to pull it up and then the hamstrings to pull it down. So make sure we're using the muscles in the front and the back rather than letting it twist all the way around. Again, I've said your arms or your elbows are your speed and your brakes. So when I go heel, toe, once I twist, this arm is gonna end up here and then here, so that I can keep myself safe, so that I can let that load and release and reset happen all the way through the armada. So don't forget your arms while you're looking at your feet. One more thing to think about is that to get from here with my center of gravity in front, I have to push forward with the other foot to bring that weight forward. But again, that really allows for distance management. If I have a partner here, they're throwing a kick and I can get right in. Their kick can go past and now I can take up that space by releasing the kick way more forward than where I was with my center of gravity.